it's story time. Alright, so where should I begin? So this is probably like a month ago, so I'm at a point now where the trauma has passed and I can actually laugh about it. So here we go. I get a text message around the afternoon from my nana, who is my grandfather from my mom's side, and he lives in Houston. And I always every now and then would call him every week or so, or every few weeks. I get a text message and he doesn't usually text, so I get like super excited, right? He's like, Assalamualaikum, how are you and stuff, and I was like, oh, walaikum assalam, how are you, blah blah blah. I call him Nana Abu. And he's like, oh, I need a favor, and I was like, yeah, of course. And I was so excited, okay, because out of all my cousins, he requested a favor from me. Me living in Florida, like a totally different state. I was like, okay, this is proof that I am his favorite grandchild, because Alhamdulillah, like, he comes to me, like, out of everybody there, he comes to me, like, he trusts me and he loves me so much that he is wanting something from me. And Alhamdulillah, like, for the opportunity, like, I get to help my grandfather in some way and get hasana and the good deeds, right? So I am just so excited, and I was like, yes, of course, tell me what you need. And he's like, oh, I need you to give me this amount of money. I'm not going to say how much because let's just not talk about that. I'm not ready to laugh about that part yet, okay? And I'll return it to you tomorrow. It's just that I have some trouble with the transfer, with the electronic stuff, so that's why. And I didn't really think much of it. Yeah, the amount was like, okay, why? But whenever I'm in Houston, he always asks me for help with, his phone or the computer, sending emails and all these things. So it wasn't something he never asked me before. And plus, my mom, I heard her talking on the phone with him about, like, they have a new, like, house maid and stuff, for cleaning and whatever. So they were talking about, like, her payment or something. So I assumed rather, it was something having to do with that. So it just made sense to me, I guess, in the moment. So, and plus, like, again, I was just so excited, okay? I didn't care what he wanted. I will give it to you, Nanabu, I will. So it was just one of those things. And I was like, okay. So I did that, and he's like, like, whatever information, yes, that's correct, blah blah blah. As he's like texting me, I'm thinking to myself, like, usually my nana texts like this, like, very slow. And he was texting these messages pretty quickly, and all I could think was like, okay, that was fast. He doesn't usually text, so I was like, maybe he just had some practice over the years or whatever. I don't know, he's just gotten better at it, mashallah. I don't want to give him nazar or anything like that, but I was just like, I just remember thinking that. And then, as soon as, like, I send everything, he's like, oh, can you send me a screenshot of, the confirmation? So I do that. And then he's like, can you send me a screenshot of your transaction history? And now he's using words that I know he doesn't know. And I'm just like, okay, that is a little sus, not gonna lie. And so I called the bank right away, and I was like, you know what? I think I need to cancel this. And I did it, like, within minutes, okay? Unfortunately, I was not fast enough, and it was apparent to me that this is a scam. This is not, in fact, my nana. It is some other person, I don't know, but it is not my nana. So I don't know who I sent this money to. And so I'm on the phone, and, like, I'm getting that whole process, trying to undo it, cancel it. Unfortunately, not able to do that. I was like, this whole thing. And then I was like, okay, so turns out that my same nana was texting my brothers as well, my mom, like, all the contacts basically. They hacked my nana's phone, right? And so I'm, like, telling everyone, don't respond, block or whatever, it's a trap, like, don't fall for it and stuff. So alhamdulillah, like, he didn't get money out of anyone else. So then I was like, okay, clearly this person is Muslim, right? He was saying Assalamu alaikum, he was saying Alhamdulillah, he was saying all these things, and he's pretending to be my nana, right? My poor nana, okay? And so I'm like, you're taking advantage of my grandfather, and you're taking advantage of me, and I don't know who else, and this is not the way a Muslim should be. Hence the topic of today's video, which is halal and haram income, because scamming people out of their money and tricking them is definitely not halal. So I go into like full big sister mode, right? And I text him and I was like, hey, can I get my money back, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, yeah, and he's like, send me all this information. Of course I'm not going to send him the information. I'm very disappointed in you, something like that. And he's like, what happened, brother? And I was like, okay, first of all, brother, I don't know how he got that from, you know, our conversation, especially when this is my literal profile picture. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not your brother. I'm your sister in Islam, and I'm very disappointed in you. Like, I was just saying all this stuff to him and like, think about your actions and, you know, the consequences and whatever, and like, you're cheating people and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, why would you say that to me? And I was like, if you don't like what I'm saying to you, then don't do it, you know? Like, I was like, oh my God. And then he was like, I'm the one that's offending him, right? You know, you don't have an answer to me. How are you going to answer to Allah on the day of judgment? And, you know, no response, you know. I was like, oh, maybe he's just thinking about it. So then I give him a day. And then, you know, I was like, hey, did you think about what I said? No response again. And then he ends up blocking me. Okay. I was like, so ironic. Anyways, so that was the end of that discussion. Moral of the story, if your nana tries to ask you about favors, chances are it's not him, because my nana, at least, honestly, probably would not ever ask me for any favors, to be honest. And I don't know, like, it's just a crazy world out there, you know, people saying Alhamdulillah and Mashallah and like Assalamu alaikum and all these things and giving you duas over text and whatever. It's not a good thing, you know. So, you know, may Allah guide us all. And definitely, like, I know it's hard, and of course, like, these things might seem like the easy way out, like quick money and all these stuff, but to be honest, like, it's not worth it. I mean, you're sacrificing your akhirah, you know, like, yes, you have to work hard. I mean, even the Prophet ﷺ had to work hard. Like, he could have asked and Allah would just give it to him, right? Like, he didn't really have to do all those things, but he did. And, you know, he's the example we need to follow. Like, out of all people, if he had to work for everything that he got, who are we to not work, you know? We have to put in that effort, and Allah will meet us and he'll make the rest of it easy. Do your part. It's not going to be easy, but the struggle is what Allah rewards, and he sees that, he knows that, and he's, you know, risk and success is only in his hands. And, you know, just keep your faith, keep being patient, keep doing what you have to do for your family, yourself, and help others. Charity especially. You give and Allah will give you even more, inshallah. May Allah protect all your grandfathers and your nanas from scammers and stuff. I don't know what happened. I have to call him, you know. I hope, inshallah, like, everything else is okay and they didn't mess with him too much, but I think he's okay. But yeah, jazakallah khair for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Don't give up. You know, everything will be okay, inshallah. So yeah, jazakallah khair for watching, and I'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. I don't know, I feel like I'm more offended for the fact that he thought I was a boy this whole time than like taking my actual money. I don't know, man. It was something.